Spartacus, you will see the slave, gladiator, invincible fighter of enveloped Spartacus with the awesome might of imperial Rome.
The symbol of the Senate, all the power of Rome. I imagine a God for slaves. And I pray.
What do you pray for?
You should always think that there are things that you must keep striving for, things that you haven't done, things that you would still like to do. And that's how one's life should be lived.
I can beat him. You know I can beat him.
Kirk played a lot of tough guys in the movies, but in real life, he was known as one of the most compassionate men in the business.
When I paint a pheasant in the field, I want to feel the sun.
I hate bullies. I think it's a very unattractive quality. So if I do intimidate people, I'll just try not to in the future.
But Douglas was far more than just an actor. He was also a producer, a philanthropist, best-selling author, and proud father to his 4 sons. Michael was his eldest.
As I always say, if I'd known Michael was going to be so successful, I would have been much nicer to him when he was young. But I'm proud of Michael, but I'm more proud of how he handles his success than I am of his success.
In 1996, Kirk suffered a stroke that impaired his speech, but not his spirit. When we visited him at his home in 2014, Michael actually crashed our interview.
Oh, where did you come from?
He celebrated his 100th birthday in December of 2016 at a bash that included his family and close friends.
I don't know anybody who's done any more than this man has. At 100 years old.
His acting career spanned 7 decades. 2 of his most famous roles were Spartacus.
I do know that we're brothers. And I know that we're free.
And The Bad and the Beautiful with Lana Turner.
Who gave you the right to dig into me and turn me inside out and decide what I'm like?
Many movies that I'd like to redo, but on the other hand, there's certain movies that I think, yes, I like them. But that doesn't mean that you're not constantly learning something. And that's part of the fun of it.
In 1991, at age 72, he survived when a helicopter he was a passenger in collided in the air with a plane. 5 years later, he suffered that stroke. Shortly afterwards, he talked about survival with Mary Hart.
I have been in the helicopter crash. I had trouble walking. I had a stroke. And here I am on a program called Entertainment Tonight. So let's be entertaining.
He was born Isor Danyilovich in New York to immigrant parents.
My father was an illiterate Russian peasant. Came to this country like millions of other people.
He earned 3 Academy Award nominations for his acting, but never won as a performer. In 1996, the Academy presented him with an honorary Life Achievement Oscar.
I see my 4 sons. They are proud of the old man.
His marriage to his second wife, Anne, lasted more than 60 years. The family suffered tragedy when son Eric died of an accidental drug overdose in 2004. Kirk was a man who was admired for his generous spirit and open heart. He deeply loved his family, often showing his affection by kissing them on the lips, an old Russian tradition.
I love you, son.
Thanks.
Hollywood trauert um einen der größten. Kirk Douglas stirbt mit sage und schreibe 103 Jahren. Der Schauspieler zählt seit den 1950er Jahren zu den absoluten Megastars im Business. Besonders seine Filme Spartacus, Weg zum Ruhm oder 20.000 Meilen unter dem Meer schreiben Kinogeschichte. In Palm Springs wird eine Straße nach ihm benannt. In Culver City existiert ein Theater mit seinem Namen. Auch als Autor feiert er Erfolge. 1996 erhält der damals 79-Jährige sogar einen Oscar für sein Lebenswerk. Wie er sich selbst diesen Riesentriumph erklärt? 2009 liefert der New Yorker eine Antwort auf diese Frage.
They paid me. It's like people have said, "See, Kirk, I see you riding horses. You're very good, do you? You ride every day?" I say, "Only when they pay me."
Mit Kirks Tod verliert die Traumfabrik nun eine Legende. Am Mittwoch machen die traurigen News die Runde. Sein Sohn Michael Douglas übernimmt die schwere, jedoch ehrenvolle Aufgabe, die Öffentlichkeit in Kenntnis zu setzen. Es erfüllt mich mit großer Traurigkeit, dass meine Brüder und ich verkünden müssen, dass Kirk Douglas uns heute im Alter von 103 Jahren verlassen hat. Doch der 75-Jährige ist sich sicher, dass das unglaubliche Schaffen seines Vaters weiterlebt. Kirk hat ein gutes Leben geführt und hinterlässt ein Vermächtnis im Filmbereich, das noch für Generationen Bestand haben wird. Lasst mich mit den Worten enden, die ich ihm an seinem letzten Geburtstag gesagt habe und die immer wahr bleiben werden. Dad, ich liebe dich so sehr und ich bin so stolz darauf, dein Sohn zu sein. Doch nicht nur Michael schmerzt Kirks Tod. Die gesamte Familie, darunter allen voran seine große Liebe Anne, können den Verlust nur schwer verkraften. Kirk und Anne sind immerhin stolze 65 Jahre verheiratet. Die gebürtige Hannoveranerin ist selbst bereits 100 Jahre alt. Ebenfalls über alle Maßen bestürzt, Schwiegertochter und TV-Schönheit Catherine Zeta-Jones. Mein Liebling Kirk, ich werde dich den Rest meines Lebens lieben. Ich vermisse dich schon jetzt so sehr. Ruhe in Frieden. Neben Michael, Anne, Catherine und Co. trauern auch seine Leinwandkollegen. Star Trek-Star William Shatner schreibt: Mein Beileid an die Familie von Kirk Douglas, was für eine unglaubliche Ikone er in dieser Branche war. Mark Hamill, der als Luke Skywalker in Star Wars bekannt wird, findet ebenso rührende Worte. Für ihn sei Kirk einer der größten Stars aller Zeiten und ein brillanter Schauspieler mit einer unvergesslichen, leuchtenden Ausstrahlung. Keine Frage, Kirk Douglas ist auf Ewigkeiten einer der hellsten Sterne auf dem Walk of Fame.
So, would it be a very foolish question to ask you whether you'd have quite liked to have been a woman rather than a man?
I try to play a role, whatever the role is, and I try never to make the mistake of beginning to think that I am the role that I'm playing.
You know, I once spent $40,000 on a horse that ran dead last, so I bought the horse.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, you're wrong. I put that horse in a nice green pasture, so he'd never get his foot caught in a mutual machine.
As I go, I remember sometimes people trying to give me a compliment, say, "Oh, Kirk, you were so wonderful that you were so lost in the part." And I say, no. I say, I wasn't lost in the part, you were.
Tomorrow, huh? Well, why not? You got as much chance of marrying me tomorrow as today. That's no chance at all because, guess what? I'm already married.
That's part of the art of acting or writing, is to create the illusion of what you want the reader or the viewer to get lost in.
I know newspapers backward, forward, and sideways. I can write them, edit them, print them, wrap them, and sell them.
Don't need anybody right now.
I can handle big news and little news. And if there's no news, I'll go out and bite a dog.
What I find as I get older is that you have to learn to like yourself.
All right. Now, what do we put on the screen that'll make the backs of their necks crawl?
Two eyes, shining in the dark.
Go frightened, growling, showing its fang.
A bird, its neck broken, feathers torn from its throat.
A little girl screaming, claw marks down her cheeks.
You have to learn to look at yourself honestly. You have to learn to see some of your faults, your weaknesses, the many that I have, anger, as we talked about being one of them. I'm too quick to anger.
Arlo's Mandy, he didn't even have a chance.
They were sailors, same as me. Slaughtered by that monster you're trying to make friends with.
But if you're aware of the faults that you have, and yet you can balance that with other qualities that perhaps you have and feel in the overall evaluation of yourself, you're not such a bad guy.
And to do it! First among the suitors, first in pride, first in arrogance, you will be the first served today.
And you get to a point where you say, yeah, I like myself. I'm not such a bad guy. So I'm at that point in life where, Mavis, I like myself. I don't think I'm such a bad guy. I think I've raised 4 kids who are tough, talented. I think I've made 80 movies that have given millions and millions of people, hopefully, some enjoyment.
All right, Doc, let's go. All right, on cue. What's the charge? We'll think of one. Sure you will.
True. As a matter of fact, in writing my autobiography, I was surprised how much anger there was inside of me. And I learned a lot about myself, including the fact that a lot of that anger remains. I think the anger that I've had in me is an element that I've used in my work.
I apologize for not being entirely honest with you. I apologize for not revealing my true feelings. I apologize, sir, for not telling you sooner that you're a degenerate, sadistic old man. And you can go to hell before I apologize to you now or ever again.
I think that as you get older, you try to do more meaningful things. You try in a little way, in a small way, to help other people. You know, there's everything in life has a rhythm. You know, sure, I suppose, you know, I'd like to know a lot of things earlier than I did, but somehow there's a pattern to life, you know, and things happen, I think, when they should. I think it has to do with your own children. I think of my 4 sons, and I try to deal with them in a way where I can correct some of the things that I felt were missing in my own relationship with my father, but I don't know what.
Exactly what are your intentions?
To see that justice is done.
And yours?
Blow his head off. Steal the money.
And?
I'm gonna ravish you.
I like women. I like them very much. I like relationships with women. I've never thought of women as just sex objects.
Hector, hand the flask to the Major.
Abort. Glad you didn't ask him to shake hands.
A lot of men are intimidated by women. You see, after all, first I was brought up with 6 sisters. Maybe that gave me an advantage. I don't know.
You all right?
Yes, sir, I'm fine. Can you do that, Captain? Contact Pearl Harbor. Back in 1941.
I think so.
But women have always played a very important part of my life.
What are you gonna do with him, Harry? I want to blow his head off. You want to do that? He was disrespectful to me. But you just had your suit clean. You get brains all over it. This punk don't have any brains. Yeah, but there'll be blood, all red and sticky. Yeah.
My mother and father were illiterate peasants that came here from Russia.
But there's one thing I want you to do. Anything. Face that firing squad like a man. I want you to show them that you have courage. Show them that you're not afraid.
I've never felt that a man should be running everything. That's for the men who are insecure.
Right.
I've always thought that women are so superior in so many ways.
I tell you what, I'll wrestle you for the money.
What?
I'll wrestle you. If you win, I'll give you $300,000. If I win, you owe me nothing.
They have wonderful qualities. They're enigmatic. You know, they have wonderful insights into things. And that's what makes being with a woman interesting. That's why I have enjoyed the company of women.
Evelyn, let me give you some good advice. Never get old.
Would have succeeded. I remember once saying to Michael that he ought to start writing his autobiography now, because I think if I were to read his autobiography, I think I might be shocked to find a lot of things, a lot of attitudes that he had toward me that I wasn't even aware of. If I were to write a sequel, if such a thing were possible, to my autobiography, I think I would have been kinder about my father. If a movie were ever made about my autobiography, I think I would have liked to play my father, because now I think, in writing the book, that I understand my father more. I know the problems